all could join us this evening. Welcome to Entwine Couture presents Going Natural, the Naturalista's Guide to everything that you guys need to know about caring for, loving your natural hair, going natural, whether you decide to take the plunge and do a big chop, or if you want to go a slower route and transition into it. We have all the information, wonderful products. We'll be having giveaways all throughout. So everything that you need to know, you'll find it here. So all of our lovely panelists who can't wait to talk to you are here standing by. And I want to start with you, Elise. Go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi, I'm Elise J. I'm the owner of Hair Love Art Studio in Chicago. You can find me at www.hairloveart.com.
Hold up, you guys. We have a transmission error. Just hold on 1 second for us.
See, I got you dancing too, Brittni.
I'm holding my hands like
It's contagious.
Well, it's a good contagious.
We're live. I think
It's
they
a little
just
house
saw
beat in
that.
there.
I'm sorry?
It's a little house beat.
Yes.
House music. I'm from Chicago.
I'm going to have to run around the block, though, to get this caffeine out.
Ooh, this late?
Not
Try
really.
water. Drink a lot of water before you go to bed to just flush it out of your system. Try that.
That's true. That's true.
Try that.
Thank you. I will do that.
Because it's happened to me before too. I've been there. I have been there. And I have a friend who can drink coffee right before bed and knock out. I don't know how she does it.
I cannot.
I'll be up for 48 hours.
Oh, we're live.
Right.
My bad.
Make sure you guys don't get too out sharing.
Hi. If you've ever been on a caffeine high, you comment below.
Definitely.
They can relate.
Good. Yes.
And we're back.
Yeah. Focus.
I don't know if
It's organic.
I keep getting Can somebody go to the link and see if they're able to see? Oh, I guess they can
Oh,
see.
I have the link. Copy. Hold on. I'm going to post it in the chat room. Can you see it, Jonathan? That's the link right there. Do you see it?
Yes. No. I'm already in the Hangout. I'm talking about the live feed.
Oh, sorry.
Check.
So, Brittni, how long have you been natural?
Oh, which time? I haven't had a relaxer in my hair since high school. But
Wow.
I've not always grown my hair and known what to do with it. So since I've started this whole process of understanding it and actually dealing with it, 3 years. But I would always cut it and braid it and not want to see it.
Okay, now the problem with that, you say in high school, you look like you're still in high school. So that don't help me time-wise.
Thank you. High school was like 15 years ago.
Really?
Yes. High school.
Wear it well, boo.
Thank you.
All right on
Wear it
ahead.
well.
We'll do skincare. Are we live? So you'll get some skincare tips while we're down. See how we multitask? Entwine Couture gives you everything you need right here. I don't eat pork. I don't eat beef. I eat chicken, and I'm trying to stop. I'm not a vegetarian, but I eat more vegetables and fruit than anything else, but I do still eat chicken. I think that has a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna look old because
No,
Yeah, exactly. Me and pork, we friends now.
no, just try to eat more vegetables.
I didn't eat it for 12 years, but now,
Just
I
try to eat more
can't.
vegetables. That's
Well,
all. Fill up on vegetables.
Now that
Yeah.
I do. I can tear down some vegetables. I'm trying to get my family to embrace the whole vegetable thing. I made eggplants for the first time.
We're live and
Oh,
let's
sorry,
go.
Jonathan.
Okay,
You
DC,
guys,
let's
let's
go.
go and get started.
Hi,
Okay.
we're back. Are you with us?
Yes.
So I would like to direct the first question to Elise, being our hair care professional. First of all, how long have you been styling and caring for natural hair?
Unofficially about 10 years. Officially, I've been a natural hair care specialist for about 4 years.
Okay, so what are just the top 5 things that you would tell any client who came to you who's wanting to learn how to care for their natural hair?
Top 5 things. Definitely learning the importance of cleansing. I know we hear a lot about in the natural hair community, sulfates are bad and don't shampoo too often. Honestly, clean scalp and hair is very, very important. Deep conditioning is your best friend. Regularly, whatever schedule fits for your lifestyle and your hair type, stick to it and be religious about it. Protective styling is good, not necessarily necessary, depending upon what your goals are for hair, for your hair. For a trim is necessary. I was actually on Facebook today, and someone was mentioning I'm natural. Do I have to trim? Yes, that's very necessary. The hair is a fabric, and it gets frayed, gets manipulated, and removing those ends now and on a regular basis prevents you from having to remove lots of length later. And then fifth, just have fun. It's hair. It's an accessory. Do with it whatever you want to as long as your follicle is healthy. You should be able to cut it, shave it, dye it blonde, dye it black, do whatever you want to it, but just have fun.
I agree with that have fun part of it. Sometimes we can get so caught up in everything that's coming out that we miss that we just want to have healthy, beautiful hair. It's self-expression. I love that. Have fun with it. So some of our questions that we got from our Facebook followers, one is about trimming their ends. They want to know how important it is, but you have just answered that. You also mentioned deep conditioning. So what is the best way for fabulous naturalistas to deep condition and then daily moisturize their hair?
All right, so I'll go from the daily to the deep conditioning. I'm not necessarily a big proponent of moisturizing daily. I know we hear a lot about spray bottles and oils and more heavy moisturizers. A lot of times we ended up putting layer on layer on layer on layer on layer on our hair and keeping a barrier for moisture out in the atmosphere. Now, what I do with my hair and what I tend to suggest the client in front of me, depending on what their hair type is, to be using a butter cream like the Entwine Exotic Hydrating Butter Cream on a daily to every 2 to 3 day basis just to keep the hair pliable. If you're manipulating it, twisting it, you want to make sure that you have something on that hair that's going to give it softness, hydrate it some, and really be able to manipulate with it. Now, deep conditioning. My favorite method is doing a deep cleanse, cleansing with a moisturizing shampoo like the Lather and Hair Bath, and then putting the conditioner on and sitting under steam for 15 to 20 minutes. Steam treatments are not an option in Hair Love Art Studio. They are just not an option. I'm not dealing with the hair unless it's been under the steamer. So get a steamer. Awesome.
Wonderful. And do you have a length of time that you should set? Can you oversteam? Can you over condition your hair?
That's a tricky question. Now, there's not really a thing as over conditioning, but what you can do is have your hair wet for too long.
Okay.
Just like, if you put a t-shirt in a bag and it's wet, it starts to mildew. Same thing with the hair. So pretty much every product that's out there on the market has been researched and developed, and whatever time it gives you, that's about the time it needs to be on your hair. Typically, it's anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, and with steam, that just kicks up the power of that conditioner.
Does wearing a plastic cap on your deep conditioner for a longer amount of time, say 2 to 3 hours, have the same benefits if you don't have a steamer?
Not really. Think about steam as micronized water. So it's smaller molecules of water going into the cuticle to replenish the hair. You know, the cuticle is kind of like, I'm getting real deep in hair science right now. The cuticle is like the roof on your hair strand. So you want the water to get in there. A plastic cap is not going to heat the water up enough to micronize those water particles. So it's definitely going to help the conditioner melt, kind of get a little bit deeper into the hair, but it doesn't compare to steam for me.
Okay, that's a really good question out there, guys. So if you can invest in a steamer, you heard it here. That's one of the things that you should be thinking about going towards your healthy hair goals for this new year that we're starting. So Mama Day, I want to bring you into the conversation, that beautiful, lovely purple that you're wearing. I love it.
Well, thank you.
So now that we've got our hair all soft and conditioned, what are some of your favorite styles? I know that Elise mentioned moisture in the atmosphere as well as the products that you're putting on your hair, but it is winter. The weather's cold outside. What are some styles that you like to wear?
My go-to style is a flat twist. I will do a flat twist and a bun in a minute. Because my hair is like past my shoulders, I wear tons of scarves, and I don't want my hair rubbing up against the scarf. So I'll use the cream jelly styler and put my hair in a twist, and it'll exactly how, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but exactly how it is here, 2 flat twists and then roll it in. And that's my go-to hairstyle. Every now and then I'll do a goddess braid, but 9 out of 10, my hair's up and in a protective style. And every now and then I wear a braid out, but it's rare for me.
How do you detangle your hair when it's wet and when it's dry? Any tips you can give our viewers right now?
I am so a pre-poo person, it's not even funny. That's like part of my regimen. I pre-poo everything. My daughter, Rihanna, has 4A hair. So her hair is very coily. It has the little balls at the end. So I've learned to just take her hair, pre-poo it, put the Total Perfection Argan Oil. I like to use the conditioner and put that on her hair and let it sit for like 10 minutes. 10, 15 minutes and let it just soften the hair. And that's how I usually condition my hair. And then, you know, deep condition it faithfully once a week just to keep that moisture and to keep it soft. Yeah, those are my deep things.
That's good. I'm glad you mentioned the argan oil, because that is also something that you can use in these dry winter months. A little on your skin, a little on your cuticle. I mean, it is the perfect add-on. If you're not using an oil in your hair care regimen, it's something that you definitely should add, and it's multifunctional. So Elise, I want to go back to you because Mama Day mentioned hair typing, and she mentioned her daughter's hair type. Can you break down for us, first of all, if you're even into the hair typing system, because there are some who debunk it and say, you know, just do what works for your hair. And there are others who think there's a school of thought that it's very important for understanding the types of products to use when you're looking at hair inspiration, such as all of you lovely ladies on the panels and other people on Pinterest and YouTube, whether their hair is like yours, if you can actually use the products that they use. So please go in depth and tell us a little bit about your thoughts.
I have an entire blog about hair typing. I'm kind of in the middle. It's useful in some ways and it's not useful in others. For me as a stylist, knowing what somebody's curl pattern is, either how loose or how tight their curl pattern is, says absolutely nothing to me. I'm more concerned about what their hair's porosity is, which is how well the hair accepts or doesn't accept moisture, the density of the hair, whether they have a lot of hair, a lot of strands of hair per square inch or not, whether that the surface of that hair is silky or it's cottony or it's woolly. I actually brought Entwine into the salon as our sole, like, twisting, bantu knotting, our sole styling system, because it works on such a varied amount of textures. I see 20 to 30 clients a week with vastly different textures, and I can use it on all of them. So I don't really go into the hair typing. Really, all hair needs to be cleansed, conditioned, moisturized, and styled. And really, looking at somebody who has your identical hair type that you think over the computer, they could have one aspect of their hair that will make your hair care and their hair care routine vastly different. So put a little credence in it, but don't put your whole faith into the hair typing system.
So then, would you suggest then that at some point, and we have to keep in mind that there might be some of our viewers who live in towns that haven't quite caught on to the wonderful movement that we already know about, and there may not be
Uh-huh.
natural hair care salons in their
Mhm.
immediate town. What's the best way for them to start out trying products? So if we're not going to look at our hair or look at others and type it, what is just a hands
Mhm.
down, maybe look for a specific ingredient or maybe treat your hair a certain way or something that you can do to figure it out?
Okay. Well, I'm how to start looking for products. One, I'm a big fan of the small sizes of products. There's Entwine makes these little itty bitties. I actually brought these home from the salon because I'm traveling on Thursday. So starting out with small tester size, which will give you one or two trials to see if your hair likes something. Also, product swaps are great. Trying out a friend, swapping with a friend, because we typically have natural friends and we all have a bunch of stuff under our bathroom sink, so switching out with a friend. And also really just looking at something that professionals use.
Yeah.
We have to work on so many different types of hair, so typically what we will use in the salon that's a professional line or a line that you don't necessarily see in the drugstores is going to be something that is probably going to work for you because we work on so many different people, like in Swan.
Cool. I want to, for our newly naturals out there, so there may be someone who's watching us who is trying to decide whether or not they should go natural. So, Mama Day, I want to take it back to you. You mentioned pre-poo. Can you break down this other language that all naturals speak and maybe your top five? Like if you were on a message board and people
Yeah.
are throwing out this jargon and you have no idea what a baggie is or what a pineapple is. Let's break down some of that language for
Okay. For the newbies. Okay, well, let's get in the natural. A pre-poo is basically before you shampoo your hair, you're going to treat your hair pre-poo. You're going to pre-treat it. So you're going to take a conditioner, an oil. Some people do it on dry hair. Some people do it on wet hair. And you're just going to apply the conditioner to your hair. I usually do it and then braid it in sections. The conditioner, then the oil, and then I braid my hair. You can either put it in a plastic cap or you can do like Elise said and buy a steamer and put your hair under a steamer. The whole purpose of a pre-poo is to literally condition your hair, prepare your hair, soften it, and get it ready to be shampooed. And then your hair is soft, flowing, detangled. You don't have to go through a whole lot of mess. So that's what a pre-poo is. What's another one? The bagging method. So the bagging method basically means it's an increase of moisture. You're going to take your hair and put oil in your hair. You're going to put a plastic cap on, put 2 head rags on top of that, and go to sleep. In the morning, when you take that plastic cap off from those head rags, your hair should be so moisturized, it should just bring the moisture into your hair. You have the greenhouse effect. I know that's another one. It's almost the same thing as bagging. The only difference is you're going to add leave-in conditioner into your hair, add an oil, put the plastic cap on, 2 head rags, and then same results. Your hair should be moisturized and soft. Pineapple, you take your hair, usually it's unraveled like Brittany's hair is, and then you'll take like an elastic band, put it on top of your hair and push it up, and your hair should look like a lovely pineapple. I think that's the gist of some of the natural hair slang. I don't know if there's any other ones.
Elise, anything that you want to add?
I do. I think when we're first starting out as naturals, and sometimes even when we're further along down the line of being natural, we haven't quite understood the concept of moisture. Moisture equals water. So just like in our bodies when we get thirsty, we don't drink oils, we don't drink conditioners, we drink water. So for our hair, it's the same aspect. We need water, both internally through our drinking and through our hair care practices to moisturize the hair. So that's why I'm such a big advocate of cleansing with a shampoo, whether it's a sulfate-free like the lather and hair bath or a sulfate-included shampoo, whatever works for your regimen. Because you want to get to the actual hair strand. You want to be able to have that cuticle open so that moisture can get in and then the conditioners and our oils and our leave-ins would close down the cuticle and make sure that that moisture stays in. So I understand, like in the natural hair community, we have all of these methods, and they actually work for a lot of people to lubricate and to make the hair much more pliable. But I really want to differentiate the difference of moisture from water and our ability to manipulate our hair with conditioners and oils through like the bagging method or the greenhouse method.
Talk to me again. You mentioned that you're not a big fan of daily moisture. Clarify that for me. What exactly did you mean by that?
Daily moisturizing as in what people think of as moisturizing, spraying water, adding oils, adding creams and things like that to the hair. For me, the way I see it in the cosmetology sense is that is increasing the pliability of the hair, making the hair more manageable, and it does bring some sort of moisture into the hair as long as it's water-based. If you're putting an oil on the hair, that's not necessarily moisture. Oils are meant to seal the hair. So if you don't have moisture in the hair already and then you're putting an oil on top of it, you're sealing in dry hair.
Okay, sealing is a good word for a newbie.
Okay, sealing definition is locking in moisture into the hair strand by using an oil or butter. So I'm a big fan of sealing ends. I'm a big fan of even sealing mid-strand to ends because our hair is dry. We have a hard time getting sebum that excretes from our scalps out to the ends of our hair, especially like Mama Day said, as long as the hair gets longer, it has a lot more distance to travel. So we introduce oils and butters into the hair to insulate that water into our hair strand. But the reason why I'm not a fan of daily moisturizing is because, again, you end up adding layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of product. And so a lot of times, especially if you have a routine for your hair care that goes from like a week to 2 weeks, you're kind of creating a very, very dry hair strand in there because water evaporates from the hair in 4 to 7 days. So it definitely makes the hair more manageable, it makes it more pliable, and it definitely helps in the manipulation of the hair. So use it, because please don't manipulate your hair with nothing in it. Like, grab you some hyper-hydrating buttercream or some argan oil and get that hair situation moving. Thank you. But really, let's not confuse what moisture is versus what making the hair pliable.
So if you, this is a 2-strand flat twist. It was twisted for 2 days and out for today. How should I care for my hair before I go to bed, and what should I do in the morning when I get up?
So you have multiple ways you can do it. You can do the lazy method like me and go to sleep on a satin pillowcase, don't wrap it up, and wake up in the morning, put a little bit of argan oil or hydrating buttercream on it just to fluff it up and go. But honestly, I can say that because all of this is shaved, so it really doesn't matter for me.
I'm the same way. I'm not a fan of, not that I don't think that this is neat, but I'm not a fan of like perfect 2-strand twist that you don't get frizz. Like I like my hair.
Is great. So that's a great way to create it, but make sure that you're on a satin or a silk pillowcase so that you're not drawing more moisture out of your hair with a cotton pillowcase. Now, I don't follow my own rules, but that's really what you should do. For someone who really is looking for the definition, who loses moisture easily in their hair, at night they can take a little bit of buttercream, a little bit of argan oil, do some big chunky twists. Like these were probably the chunkiest twists I'll ever do. Big chunky twists, just double strand them extra loosely, and put a scarf or a bonnet on and go to sleep. Wake up in the morning, take them out, fluff, do like this, keep it moving.
Okay, wonderful. So as you see, natural hair, it's fun, it's freeing. I want to say though, Mama Day, I love your French roll. So I'm not sure what type of work setting you work in, but is this something that you wear to work? You feel like it's an easy style for every day, for your lifestyle? Whether you have children, whether you're busy, would you say that your hair keeps you from enjoying the life that you want to, or you figured out how to do creative styles that don't interfere with your corporate or your professional life?
No, yes, I wore this to work, so I do work in corporate America, and it's a quick, fast, 5-minute hairstyle, and so I think it's mommy appropriate. I think it's professionally appropriate, and it's just for those natural women out there that just don't have the time. A quick flat twist one side, flat twist the other, and then I just spin it in a little bun and pin it, and I'm gone. It's easy out the door, and I love it, and I get compliments all the time. I'm married. I have to tell people all the time I'm married.
So So we're talking about the ease of caring for natural hair. It can take you corporate. It can take you creative. It works if you have children. It works if you're dating. Men love natural hair. So all of those things that may be discouraging you from going natural, you heard it here first. It's just a myth. What I want to ask you ladies is, did you guys transition? Transitioning meaning you've got a relaxer, you've got some new growth coming in, and you're trying to hold on to the length and maybe cut it off little by little until you grow out to the length that you want and are chemical free. Did you ladies do that, or did you ladies just take the plunge and cut it all off? And first, let's start with those stories.
I guess I'll go
Elise,
first.
do you want to tell us your story about?
I'll tell my story because my story is kind of long, but I'll make it short. I've been natural on and off since 2003, so that's 11 years. When I first went natural, it was like 101 degrees in Tallahassee, Florida. My hair was relaxed and down to here. Up until that, my hair was down to here. So I cut it to my shoulders. Like, I'm still hot. I had somebody take some clippers to my head and buzz me to a number 2. So I had a Caesar cut. And I felt beautiful. I felt great. I was cooler. I didn't have to deal with my hair in the Florida sun. But at this point, there was no YouTube. There was no bloggers or vloggers. And I wasn't a stylist at the time. I was a sophomore in college. So I went to Walgreens, bought myself some S-Curl, and kept using the same Aveda shampoo and conditioner I used on my relaxed hair. And my hair in a year and a half, because it's Florida and the weather is just, it's compatible to this. My hair grew out to here. So I have big chopped. Actually, I lost count at about 6. This is probably 9 or 10. I've tried to transition exactly 1 time. And for me, transitioning takes a whole lot more than just cutting my hair off and letting it grow natural. I'm a big advocate for taking the plunge. And I'm not necessarily saying go shave your hair down to here. But after a month or 2 or 3 months of growth, I believe it's important to learn your natural hair at each step of the way, because I've had quite a few people come sit in my chair and been like, I've been natural for 3 years. I transitioned for 2.5. They got hair down here. They've got 10 tons of hair that they have no concept what to do with, because they've either braided or weaved or just transitioned kind of like haphazardly, and never really had to deal with the true natural texture of their hair. So I'm a big chop people too.
What are some of the ways that women should transition as healthfully as possible? Like, what are your tips on transitioning if they decide to go that route?
Okay, so for transitioning, if you do live in an area that you have a highly recommended natural hair stylist, I recommend you see them at least once. One for an assessment of your hair as is and what your hair needs, because transitioning, you end up with 2 heads of hair. You end up with a head of relaxed hair and a head of natural hair that have to be treated completely differently. That relaxed hair is going to need much more protein. That natural hair is going to need much more moisture. So essentially, you've got to deal with those hair like they're 2 completely different heads of hair. And then knowing at the line of demarcation, which means the point of where your natural hair and your relaxed hair meet, is going to be one of the weakest points of your hair. So finding a professional that can guide you through that, at least you don't have to come every 2 weeks, every week, that can guide you through the stressful parts of it is helpful. But if you don't have one of those in your area, or that's not a possibility for you, really knowing that your cleansing is going to be important, that your deep conditioning has got to be on point. Using a moisturizing conditioner like the cream rinse on your natural hair, and using a protein-enriched conditioner on your relaxed ends so they don't just snap and break off. Protective styling, as in keeping the hair in flexi rod sets, flat twist sets, buns, are very, very important, because you don't want any extra manipulation or tension at that line of demarcation point. I'll be honest, and I know people are going to be like, boo for me. I've transitioned one of my clients with very small, like coffee stir pin curls to straightening her once a week. Yeah, once a week for a year and a half, and then she got sister locks right after that, once she decided to cut all the rest of the locks off. So that's possible. But that should not necessarily be your go-to, your route. Be safe with heat. And I think that's really just enjoy your journey. Know that it's going to be stressful. Know it's going to be some horrible hair days. And throw it up in a bun, cock it to the side, put a flower in it, and walk out with all of your confidence. Put some lipstick on, some earrings, and rock it.
That's right. And Entwine Couture is here to help you on that journey and to help you have more fabulous hair days than bad hair days. So I want to announce for the giveaways that we're going to be doing at the end of this. So guys, stay tuned to the end. Stay with us. We are giving away a transition kit, which includes a trial size of the Exotic Buttercream Hydrator, which I have to say is my favorite. At least I think I'm guilty of over moisturizing because I do put a little bit of this on my hair twice a day. I do it before I go. I do it before I go to bed to make sure I'm not lying on dry hair, and then when I wake up in the morning, I put a little bit less of it in my hand with the argan oil kind of together, like a little combo. I zhuzh it together in my hands. So I use a lot. I'll try to maybe skip a day and see if I notice a difference, but I have really dry hair. And when I say dry hair, it's so dry, and I live in a cold climate. So that's going to be in your transition kit along with the cream jelly styler, which I use to get the definition in these twists. And I think I'm going to just, oh no, man down.
Man down.
Man down situation. What happened? I think that I'm probably just going to, like Elise said, sleep on the satin pillowcase, and this definition is still going to be here. My hair is not crunchy or hard at all. You see, I'm loving touching it. It's shaking. It's moving. And that's going to be in your kit along with the argan oil that I mentioned that I put a little bit in my hands with the cream hydrator. So you guys stay tuned. We're going to give that away. Those products are going to help you have some wonderful, wonderful hair days as you either transition, go back natural, or as you're growing out your natural hair if you've already big chopped to kind of keep your hair conditioned and polished. Mama Day, we didn't get to you and your story about whether you big chopped or did you transition.
Now, I actually transitioned.
Okay.
I had the goal to transition for a year, but it didn't last. So I did the sew-ins and, had it sewn in for maybe not all at once. I got it like 3 to 4 times I had it sewn in. After about 3 to 4 months, I got the Brazilian keratin treatment and I did the flat ironing. And I just consistently flat ironed my hair. And I want to say, I think I had that aha moment like Elise was saying. And I was like, okay, if I'm going to go natural, why in the world do I want my hair to look like a relaxer? I was like, it just defeats the purpose. So then that's when I found out about social media, and I went on YouTube, and I found out how to actually take care of my hair in its natural state versus how it is relaxed. So then I think that was my aha moment, because I realized, okay, I have to learn how to take care of the hair I want to have and not the hair I already have. So once that happened, I started learning how to take care of my hair, the curly hair. I think that's what happened. I just kind of stopped treating my hair like it was relaxed and started treating like all of it was natural, even though I still was transitioning. And then one day I took a shower, I saw those curls, and 9 months I cut it. My husband walked into the bathroom like, what? And all my hair was on the floor.
Wow.
And that's my natural story. He had a shock moment, but it was nice. I loved it. I fell in love instantly. It seems so taboo to say it, but it was, as soon as I saw my curls, I was like, it was meant to be.
That's wonderful. So I hope that we get more ladies to join us in this movement to just love your hair. Love your hair. Love what your hair can and cannot do, will and won't do. I've accepted that I like my hair like this. If it's not like this, I like turbans or, scarves, some decorations, some big earrings. There are so many things that you can do to accentuate the beautiful hair that we already have and let go of what society and other people have generally told us is attractive or beautiful. It's so freeing. I can't say that enough. I want to ask you ladies if you have heard of something called the lock method for retaining moisture. Have any of you ladies heard of that?
Yes.
Are any of you doing that? And what products are you doing to make sure that your hair stays moisturized and in optimum condition?
I do it, but Elise, do you want to take this one?
Oh, I'll take it. I think it's a matter of personal preference. I do. I think it's a very effective method, and it's a method that I follow for my clients that have just very naturally dry, very coarse, very kind of wiry hair. But I love the argan oil, but I'm not necessarily a fan of oil in particular as part of a hair care routine. It tends to stain pillows, it tends to not, some oils tend to not necessarily be as absorbable as others, probably which is why I love the argan oil, because it disappears almost as soon as it gets in the hair, but it's very effective. But lock method, since we haven't really broken down, lock is liquid oil cream. So I kind of see that as once the cleansing has been done, the liquid is the water. The oil can come in, to me, either before or after the cream, but the cream for me is the leave-in. I know for some people, the way they see it, the liquid is the leave-in. I always start with water. And then typically I'll do a leave-in like the Aphrodisia 9 immediately after, when the hair is super, super soaking, before I've done any major detangling or anything like that. And then I might add a little bit of oil. So I'm more of an LCO than an LOC if I have to include an oil in my routine.
Now I'm gonna jump.
I have a question for you. So.
Oh, I can hear.
Are we here? I wanted to ask Elise one question about the liquid component of the lock method. Is that something that you should only do on freshly washed hair, or should you be applying water to your hair every time you add some type of moisturizer?
Alrighty. Well, I think it's also a matter of personal preference, just in terms of the scientific way of how water ends up in the hair. I think it should be done on freshly washed hair, but I know that some people wake up in the morning and they just cannot move their hair unless some water is involved. I'm like that probably, it's like 2 or 3 days before wash day. I've got to get in my body shower, and some of this has got to get wet so that I can even get to the cream or the oil part, and that's just me being lazy with my hair. So for the lock method to actually be moisturizing and moisture retaining, do it on freshly washed hair. But understand that it can be done like with a spray bottle and then a little bit of oil or leave-in cream once the hair is already dry, in order to manipulate the hair safely.
Now, if we've got watchers that have shorter hair, how do they prevent shrinkage if they're putting water on their hair midweek?
Oh, how do you prevent shrinkage? You really don't. Shrinkage is real. Shrinkage is real. You just sometimes have to deal with it. But to get past the shrinkage, maybe you do that at night, where you're adding some water to your hair. You're manipulating it at night versus in the morning. You're adding your water. You're twisting it for elongation or braiding it for elongation, and then sleeping on it, instead of like my laziness, because my hair I don't really have shrinkage. My hair is very odd. It's very wiry. It's semi-coarse, and it's in like S curls that don't really like bounce back, which it has its own benefits and its own drawbacks. So adding water doesn't do that for me. But if you really experience shrinkage, doing anything to elongate the hair at night will help you in the morning.
And Mama Day, which Entwine products do you like to use for the lock method?
So I'm a Entwine Couture junkie. They are my staples. So I love to use the Aphrodisia 9. That's my leave-in. Two pumps per section, and then I will take the Total Perfection Argan Oil, and I'll usually just 1 pump. I don't use a lot of oil when I do the lock method. I rather, I think I do use it, but I rather my cream be my definitely locking in my sealing in my moisture. And then I just take my exotic buttercream hydrator and apply that. So it's just the L leave-in, the O, the oil, and then the buttercream hydrator. And I probably don't use a lot of the buttercream hydrator, like a finger. Right, the tip of my finger is how much I use per section of my hair. As long as my hair feels moisturized, it's good. And with using that, I can go at least a good week and a half without applying any moisture to my hair. And that's what I love about the lock method.
Cool. I love it too. I have to say, I wash my hair probably once a week because I need to keep it, I need to keep a lot of water on my hair as well in washing it. But on wash day, I love to use the leave-in. I part my hair in a lot of small sections. I want to say that to all you guys out there. I would say that my hair is medium. It's not a TWA. I don't think it's long. So I think my hair is medium. I still part my hair in really small sections to make sure that I am really getting the product all throughout my hair. I think that was a big mistake that I made when I first went natural, I would just put a blob of product in my hair and kind of go all over, and then I realized I wasn't getting really into I guess the density of my hair. So that is definitely a tip as your hair starts to get a little bit longer. You can do that if you've got a TWA, but if you can braid your hair or twist your hair even a little, section your hair off into as many sections as you need to make sure that your hair is really getting moisturized, because your hair, if it's really moisturized, should feel moist and almost wet when it's dry, if that made sense to anybody. It should feel like there's moisture on it, like it's creamy, like it's soft to the touch, but it's not wet. It's totally dried overnight. That's how your hair can feel if you keep the moisture level up. And so on wash day is when I really load up on the Aphrodisia 9 leave-in conditioner. Make sure you're combing the product through your hair as well, which will help with further detangling. A little bit of the oil, and then I actually like to take the cream hydrator and go like this and smooth it down the hair to make sure that it's smoothing out the curl, so that when you put the twist or the braid in, you're pulling the hair down, so you'll get a longer elongated curl. Okay. So definitely with the lock method. What would you like to add?
Yeah, I want to add one thing, because I just did a workshop on hydration. And I know everybody expects for their hair to feel soft, to feel moisturized once they've used a certain product or they've done a certain method. And I want to kind of temper everybody's expectations for their hair. Everyone's hair is different. So how your hair feels moisturized is not necessarily how someone else's hair is going to feel moisturized. Your hair might feel a little bit coarser if you have coarser hair. Your hair might be a little bit heavy, which means you might be using a bit too much product. So really gauge your expectations and how much product you use on your specific hair type, which is why, again, I don't get into the curl patterning, because, yeah, you and I both can have the same diameter of curl, but if I'm coarse and I have low porosity and have high density hair, I'm going to have to do a lot of different things in my routine versus you who might have finer, lower density hair that just accepts more moisture. So just kind of understanding from a cosmetology perspective, your hair will definitely help you to know how much product to use, which method, the lock or the LCO or using oil or not using oil, works for your individual hair.
That's great. Good. We have a lot of questions coming in the text. I'm super excited. So let's see if we can answer these briefly. So Brittany Lewis wants to know about working out, sweating in your hair, or swimming. Is there anything that you can tell her about making that process a little bit easier for working out?
Mama, Dad?
Okay, I'll jump on that one if you don't mind, Elise. My daughter Rihanna actually swims. So she swims once a week. And so what we usually do is I will pre-set her hair. I'll basically take butter, wet her hair, and put butter on top of her hair and braid it. And I'll braid it in about 8 sections. The main reason why I wet her hair before I put the butter on is when you go in the pool, you don't want your hair to be dry when you go in the pool, because as soon as you do, your hair, the first thing it's going to do is absorb all that chlorine into your hair, and that's what's going to just break your hair completely off. And it's not going to, it'll help prevent it when you wet it. And then when you put the butter on it, it's going to help seal your hair, so when she goes in that water, it's not going to stay sealed, but it'll at least help prevent her absorbing too much of the chlorine. I do recommend you buy a chlorine cleansing shampoo, something that will clarify your hair, because you want that chlorine out of your hair. I will wash her hair out thoroughly. I will deep condition it, and I let that sit for at least an hour on her hair, honestly. I rinse it out, and then I just go about naturally styling her hair, doing the lock method and braiding it. And I try to, at least after she washes her hair, I try to have her hair rest for 3 days after shampooing it, just because I don't want her to manipulate it a lot, because I want her hair to literally stretch and heal on itself and have that breakaway for me just traumatically it going in the chlorine and being traumatic. So that's what I do, and it works really well. She doesn't have a lot of split ends. She doesn't have a lot of breakage, and it seemed to work for us.
I'll add a little bit to that. I'm actually a former competitive swimmer.
Oh.
But I have not been a swimmer since I've been natural. But what I found, I was swimming morning, night, 5 days a week. So I'm not sure how often Brittany works out or how often she swims, but it's very, very important to get the chlorine out of the hair
Yes.
right after you get out of the pool. So what Mama Day said, making sure that hair is wet before you go in so you're not absorbing as much water with chlorine in it. But the minute you're getting out of that pool, a deep rinse and a cleanse with a sulfate-free shampoo like the lather and hair bath is going to be very, very important, especially if you're one of those people who's either competitive, swimming, running, doing something like that, because leaving that chlorine in the hair because you're afraid the shampoo is going to dry out the hair is going to be much more detrimental to the health of your hair than actually cleansing, conditioning, and then doing possibly the lock method to make sure that you're retaining moisture. I do advise you to do something like box, not necessarily box braids with added hair, but individual braids with just your own hair, or flat twists, so that you're not necessarily manipulating your hair and your styling, but that you're cleansing, you're conditioning, and you got a style that you can get up and go with.
That's good advice. What about, let's see. So Lisi, I hope I'm saying your name right. She's got a question about heat damage and whether or not a big chop is the only way to recover from heat damage.
Heat damage. Heat damage is where the heat has affected the protein structure of the hair, just like a relaxer. So there is some very, very little heat damage that can be recovered from. Now that's possibly if you've had like a keratin treatment or something where you've got something coating your hair that you can actually remove from the hair that will possibly, the hair will possibly spring back from. But if your hair has just been straight and limp for weeks to months, that hair's not coming back. So you either have the option to transition out of that with like twist out styles, flexi rod styles, updos, wigs, weaves, whatever, or just big chop it off.
Is transitioning from heat damage pretty much the same as transitioning from a relaxer because the textures are still two different textures? Is that correct?
Even if you're, I see a lot of this. People's like, I'm natural, I've been natural, but my hair is completely straight. And if you've been heat styling with I won't even say with improper tools or improper heat protection, because heat damage is possible anytime heat goes on the hair. Now, a good stylist is going to do everything in their power to make sure that that hair bounces right back. I have clients I've been straightening for 3 years straight whose hair will bounce back into an afro. So it really kind of depends on the technique. But it's very similar because that protein structure has been changed. So once that hair doesn't bounce back, again, you're dealing with straight hair, curly hair, and that line of demarcation is the weak point. So I encourage you to big chop and just start over, and you'll have a great, lovely big fro really soon.
Speaking of curly hair and straight hair, here's a big question. Should you cut your hair when it's curly and it's afro texture, or should you blow it out first and straighten it? And now we go back to this circle of life with the heat damage because you got to blow it out to straighten it. And help us out, Elise. What do we do?
Well, it's your preference. I'm actually a Diva certified cutting stylist, which is one of the only methods that exists to cut hair curly in its naturally curly state. So I'm all about cutting natural hair in its curly state, especially because so many of us have multiple hair textures in our heads. So when we straighten it out into a two-dimensional shape, it gets cut, it's all great, we got these long layers and this like fabulous swing going on, and then we go back curly and it's like this, and we've got this mushroom. So cutting it in its natural state allows you to see where that hair goes, where that hair moves, what curl looks good here, what curl looks good there. But it takes someone who is intimately knowledgeable about curly hair and is expertly trained in how to cut that hair curly. And there are so few people that exist. There's so few people even in the large city like Chicago. That I want to say there's only 3 of us certified in that method, and I've trained one of them in this city.
Wow.
So that's saying something. So if your only option for getting a professional trim is straightening, I will go with somebody who is just blowing the hair out and can cut from there if you're afraid of heat damage.
Okay. Thank you, Rayanne for submitting that question. That's a really good question. Mama
I know.
Day, I want to ask you, so as our resident Entwine user
Yes.
and someone who also wants to maintain the health of your hair at home, have
Yes.
you ever cut your hair or trimmed your hair on your own? And if you're brave enough to do that, how do you do that? And give us some tips on maybe how you trim your ends or something at home if you do that yourself.
I do it myself, but I once a year I get my stylist to do it. So at least don't get at me. I'm sorry.
I'm not getting into it all.
But I do it at home, and what I basically do is usually it's on wet hair, so it is curly when I do it, and when I trim it, I do two methods. So I trim it and then I do dusting, if you will. Usually I trim it every 3 months, and I'll just take my hair with it wet, and I'll feel down and run down my fingers down the shaft, and as soon as the hair will lift. You'll feel the lift, the bumps, and as soon as I feel that bump, I just clip it. And I cut it because I don't want any dead ends. I don't want any split ends, and I'll just get rid of them because it's my goal is to have healthy hair, and I'm pretty sure it'll be long when it's healthy. I'd rather not focus on the length of it and more on the health of my hair. And then if I'm dusting my hair, usually I always section my hair in like 8 sections when I wash and detangle my hair and style it. So dusting basically is you'll see the ends of your braid. And if you'll notice that it's like slightly thin at the ends, it's thinning out, you'll see those stringy ends. I would just take shears, not scissors. Shears.
Get special scissors, ladies.
I want to say that. I want to make sure I state that. Please do not use regular scissors to trim your ends. If you do that, you're making your hair 10 times worse than it was before. You're causing split ends on all of the hair you just cut. Because
where did you buy your scissors? Where did you buy your hair cutting scissors?
Sally's Beauty. I spent $60. I paid a lot, but I wanted professional shears. If I was going to do it myself, I wanted it to be professional shears and not cheap $5 shears. I wanted the most professional shears possible to help my hair, at least save me money by not going to the salon, but still having the salon experience with the proper tools.
Wonderful. So I want to thank everybody so far for all their questions. Rayanne for 10, Lisi, Nicole, Brittany, and now Natasha has a question. She says that she lives in Memphis, shout out to Memphis, and that her stylist suggests that she should try the curly girl method. Are you guys familiar with that, and what are your thoughts on that for Natasha?
Well, the curly girl method actually kind of was popularized through Diva Curl, which does the certification for the Diva cutting, and it's where you are using sulfate-free products, silicone-free products, water-based products in your hair. Actually, a very big fan of the curly girl method, specifically because you are attending to your hair more, you're cleansing and conditioning it more. You're not using products that have lots of buildup on the hair, and you're also kind of just letting the hair do its thing. For some people that works, for some people that doesn't. Curly girl method does take some adherence to it in terms of time. You really cannot follow the curly girl method and then shampoo once every 2 weeks. So you've got to kind of be committed to regular cleansing, conditioning, and hydration of the hair. And curly girl method can be done with Entwine products, sulfate-free. I believe silicone-free, so that you're using water-soluble products on the hair. The minute you run your head up under the water, the product rinses out. So that's what you want with the curly girl method.
Mama Day, do you have any experience with this method? I'm not exactly familiar with this, so I can't speak on it.
It was the first method I tried when I first went natural. It didn't work out for me. I learned that it didn't work for me. But I did try the curly girl method. I tried it on myself and my youngest daughter. I didn't have the time. Rihanna's hair is thick. It's thick, and it was a lot of work. And I was like, halfway through, I was like, no, we got to find something else. It just wasn't for me. I'm not dogging the curly method at all. I know I have tons of girlfriends that do it, live by it. Their hair is beautiful. I just don't have the patience. But yes, it's a great method.
Yeah, the longer my hair gets, the worse, like the more non-curly girl method I get. But at this length with like literally this much hair, it's what I buy by when it's over 30 degrees.
Yeah.
So I think the takeaway from that, ladies, is on your natural hair journey, you're gonna have to try a couple of things. So
Yes.
where are we, Natasha? I want to say talk to your stylist in Memphis a little bit more about it and give it a try before you commit to it or think that it's the only method for you. Just like in the summer, I know lots of people do wash and goes. That's some more lingo. But I have to say it doesn't work for my hair. My hair has to be stretched. It has to be stretched and it has to be twisted or braided every night or divided up in some way because it just coils on itself and I get the worst knots. So again, I thought I was doing it wrong. I tried 15 different gels and conditioners and products, tried to get like the right combination of, of everything to get these like curls, and no ma'am, didn't work for me. So that's going to be something else that you're going to have to experiment. And a good way for you to experiment, for the next 3 hours, we are having free shipping on Entwine Couture. So you can go and check out the transitioning kit if you are thinking about it. So you, again, you're going to get... Yes, don't leave us yet. You're gonna get the cream hydrator. You're gonna get a styler. So if you're transitioning, you'll be able to do some rod sets, some braid out, some straw sets, and it'll help to mix together the natural roots with the straighter ends. And you'll also get an argan oil. So that's what you're gonna get if you head over to entwinecouture.com. 3 hours free shipping. And if you're over there and you're not quite sure what the lock method is, if you would just add on the Aphrodisia 9 leave-in conditioner, you will have everything that you need to go ahead and do the lock method and then have your daily moisturizer to continue to style and hydrate your hair while you're transitioning. That's exciting. You guys should jump on that. So Nicole Walton has a question, and she wants to know if anyone uses apple cider vinegar in their hair care routine.
I used to. I used to use apple cider vinegar in my routine. I stopped because I dye my hair, and I noticed that the apple cider vinegar dried my hair, and it did the opposite effect. When I didn't have to dye, it did soften my hair. I didn't too much care. Hi!
That's why mine's not here.
I didn't too much care for the smell, but I found that I needed products that had great pH level. And I think that's the thing about the apple cider vinegar is you need a pH level, Brittni. So for me, I found that the Aphrodisia 9 and the Exotic Butter Cream Hydrator and the Cream Jelly Styler are a 5.0, which was great for me. I am a nerd, and yes, I do check the pH balance of products I put in my hair. Yes. And they had a pH balance of 5, and that's what I needed. And so when I stopped using the apple cider vinegar and I started using the products more, I noticed that my hair was moisturized. It did the same thing that the apple cider vinegar did without the smell and without making my hair dry because I dye it.
I'll chime in on a professional's view, well, this professional's view of apple cider vinegar. Please don't use it. Please don't. I understand that some people are recommended for the scalp because it might actually do very good things for your scalp, as in lift dandruff, kind of normalize what's going on in the scalp. But again, hair grows out of the scalp. The pH of vinegar is what, like 2 or 3, somewhere between 2 or 3. It's a very, very low pH product.
Yeah, it's a 3.
And it's very, very clarifying. It's super clarifying. I use vinegar to clean off my child's like play surfaces, so that gets off all the grease and all the oil. So you're literally stripping every single thing off your hair, the good and the bad. And I believe that we've started using apple cider vinegar because so-called shampoo is bad. Shampoo has been formulated to both cleanse the scalp and not harm the hair. So there's a purpose for shampoo to be part of the routine versus apple cider vinegar. I'm a person that says do it if it works for you, but I've seen quite a few clients come through my salon who've been on the apple cider vinegar method and their hair is dry as a bone and it's breaking, and you might not see it immediately, but it's a cumulative effect. So you want everything that you do within your routine to be purposeful for the the purpose of growing healthy hair, whether that's long healthy hair, short healthy hair, colored healthy hair, just healthy hair.
I agree.
And what is healthy? What are some signs that your hair is healthy and is thriving? Even if it doesn't grow as fast as someone else's, what are maybe just some top signs that your hair you're doing all right?
You're great. Well, to touch on hair growth first, hair growth is determined by genetics. Other than if you have a medical condition or deficiencies within your body, your hair is going to grow at a predetermined method. Nothing out there is proven to grow hair faster, and the only thing proven to regrow hair is minoxidil, which is Rogaine. So put that out there. But signs of healthy hair is elasticity, so you can pull your hair out and it bounces back. Pliability, that you can tuck and roll and manipulate your hair without ending up with an entire sink full of hair that snapped off. That you shed at a normal rate. Hair sheds 50 to 100 hairs a day. Some people shed a little bit more, some people shed a little bit less. Ending up after 2 weeks with a ball of hair, like that big, well, not my fist big, but like that big, is not that big of a deal, especially if you have high density hair. That's 1,400 to 1,600 hairs that have come out of your head. And a healthy scalp is actually going to be a good sign of healthy hair. Your scalp is not red, not inflamed, not flaking, more than just like what's your normal. If it's cold outside, you might get a little small, dry patches coming up. And that you can just kind of manipulate the scalp as needed. But that's really healthy hair. Healthy body, healthy scalp, healthy hair.
What about fairy knot? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Ask
Yes.
real quick?
Absolutely.
I want to ask Elise real quick about the break. Like, if you style your hair and you have tons of little breakage flakes, what does that mean you have to do?
A lot of times that means you have either split ends, frayed ends, or the ends are just old and they want to leave. If it's right after you've gotten a trim, then I would investigate your routine. But if you haven't had any type of end maintenance within 2+ months, please go get some end maintenance done for yourself. Meaning taking off what is frayed, what is split, what is rough, because all that split is going to do is keep traveling up the hair strand. And I tell people, either you're going to come to me on a regular basis and get a 1/2 inch to 1 inch off, or you're going to come to me after not having that end maintenance done, and I'm going to tell you, you have this much hair that needs to come off. And you're going to boo-hoo cry because it took you so long to get to that point. So you can do it by hook or by crook.
So what are fairy knots? You're talking about end maintenance and split ends. What are fairy knots, and how do you know if you've got a split end?
Well, fairy knots are like, they kind of elude me, and it's something that I definitely see in hair that's more cottony, more coily, and just naturally drier. Is the hair just kind of like, it frizzles up into itself. So my theory on fairy knots, because it's a theory, it's not really tested yet, is that fine hair that's super textured starts to fray at the end. And then because it's super fine and fly away and wispy, it gets caught up either in other hair or that specific hair strand and just balls into a knot. Just like you have thread and you do like this, you're going to ball that thread into a knot. That happens on the ends of the hair. I think they're called nodules. Don't quote me on that. And that also, finer hair sometimes needs more maintenance. It needs more dustings and trims just to keep those ends in good shape. What was the other part of your question?
How can you tell if you've got split ends? Does your hair feel rough on the end? Does it not curl when you twirl it around your finger?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Just like Mama Day said, when you reach down that hair strand and you feel that rough spot, and I feel it all the time. It's like it's usually about right here that it starts to just act really extra crazy, and when you're doing your twist and you twirl at the end, it just goes, that means that needs to come off.
Okay.
ASAP, surely.
Okay. Wonderful. There's so much information. I'm learning new things every day. I'm going to try to hold off on all of the daily moisturizing and see if my hair learns something new. I'm not going to spray it with water every day. So I want to thank Nicole, and I want to thank Lacey Lee, and I want to thank Brittni, and I want to thank LL Cool Beans 86 for this question, and I'm not sure if we can answer it because I don't have enough information, but she said that she burned a piece of her hair, a chunk of her hair. She didn't say if it was a blow dry or a flat iron or how, but she wants to know how she can best recover from that.
Well, if it's burned, it doesn't matter whether it's been a blow dryer or a flat iron. If it's burned and it's straight and it's not going anywhere, she's either going to have to transition it out or cut it off. That's really her only two options. You can try doing a protein conditioner under a steamer to see if that revives some of the protein structure where you might get a little bit more curl. But beyond that, it's burnt. I'm sorry. I know it's heartbreaking. It's real heartbreaking.
It's happened to me too. Don't feel bad. It's happened to me.
And me too.
You learn. It's trial and error. Yeah, it's hair. Have fun with it. And I know the jury is out with this definition of natural and what it means. I think there are so many varieties and personalities that go along with it. Just be you. In your journey to have your hair natural, you don't have to change your life, your politics, your diet because you now have natural hair. You can love makeup or flip-flops or granola bars or jazz. You can eat pork and you can eat couscous. Do not fall into this is now who I have to be because of how I choose to wear my hair. We just want you to go natural, to be healthy, to educate you on the wonderful products that are out there that Entwine Couture offers. I know you guys have gone over to the site to check out what we have to take advantage of this 3-hour free shipping, www.entwinecouture.com. There's also links to plenty of videos. There's information. There's fashion. Head over to the site and continue to be a part of this conversation. Someone out there wants to know if you can regrow a hairline. Elise, what do you think about that? I guess that's from maybe weaves or braids, perhaps a thinning hairline?
Yeah, well, it depends on the cause and how serious that hair loss is. So from like traction alopecia, where that's where your wigs, your weaves have been pulling on the edges too much and have caused follicular damage, if that follicle is still alive, you can possibly regrow hair. And if it's not, if it's just shiny and smooth, it's possibly that you will not grow hair. But I encourage anyone who's experienced any type of hair loss to go to a dermatologist. A dermatologist is a professional MD who specializes in diseases and disorders of the hair, skin, and nails. I would actually advise you to hopefully find an African-American female dermatologist who understands both the cultural and the scientific parts of hair loss in our community. If it's from just regular age, hairline receding, because the women in my family lose their hair. Grandma's got a back hairline, auntie and mom. And I know it'll probably come down to me at some point and I'm just going to shave it off. At the point of where it's hereditary, there's some things that a dermatologist can possibly help you to do to slow down that rate of hair loss, but it's really going to have to do with what is truly going on with your follicles and what your medical professional sees as the best course of action. A hairstylist, a cosmetologist only deals with the hair once it has grown out of the follicle.
Can I jump on this one? I will say I have a bald spot. It's right at the top of my temple that I get every year during the winter. I don't know why she does it, but she decides, my hair decides to just come out. It doesn't, no reason whatsoever. I'm not harsh on my scalp or anything. I take black castor oil, Jamaican castor oil, and I'll just rub it, stimulate the scalp, and I mean, the follicles are still there because after 3 months, my hair grows back and it starts to just slowly catch up with the rest of it. I don't know why. I've seen a dermatologist. They don't know why. They tell me, well, the black castor oil works. Go with it. So that's what, I'll be honest, that's what I use. And I don't like that heavy oil in my hair, but that's the only time I will take Jamaican castor oil and put it to my scalp is only when that falls out. So I hope that helps.
Just
I hope that helps too. Try that out and see if it works. I know it works for me.
Do any of you take vitamins for hair growth or just for overall health?
I should, but I don't. But just to piggyback on that, what it sounds like what's happening with your spot right there is you might be experiencing breakage to your scalp because of weather changes or hormonal changes or just anything going on in your environment or your body. Not necessarily that your follicle is having an issue. What she sounds like is like it's a follicular problem, because if it was just like, okay, I got a side and it grew back like cool. Because I have a spot back here from that I love my barber because he cuts me and so nobody can see it, but it's from having ringworm as a 6-year-old in my head. So that caused so much follicle damage that no
Yeah.
matter what a dermatologist does, it's never going to grow back because I don't have follicles in that point. So that's why I'm always like, just like you did, Mama Day, go see a dermatologist because it's great. We can be rubbing black castor oil all day long, but there's only a certain window of time to where those follicles don't just say, I'm done, and go bye-bye, to where they can actually help you if they are still alive.
That is great. I have so enjoyed being with you guys. Did you ladies have a good time?
I had a great time.
I hope you guys out there watching got all of your questions answered. Thanks again, Brittni and Nicole and Lisi and LL Cool Beans. Thank you guys so much. The winners are going to be announced shortly for the giveaway. I thank all of you who stayed until the end. Ladies, let our viewers know what's going on with you guys, where we can come see you, where we can watch your YouTube videos or read your blogs. Mama Day, what's going on with you?
Well, you can follow me at I am Mama Day, MAMADAYE. You can follow me at Mama Day at YouTube. I am at Mama Day _ Instagram and Mama Day 36. I told my age on Facebook.
You look beautiful. Elise, how about you?
Well, right now I'm running a series of hair care workshops in Chicago called Love Curls 101. I'm partnering with Curl Kitchen, who is Chicago's retailer for Entwine, to do this series. Our next one is our Curl Friends Love Curls party on February 13th from 6 to 8. To find out more information about that, you can go to my website at www.hairloveart.com. All one word, all spelled regularly. And I am on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Hair Love Art.
Fantastic. So here's what I want everyone who's watching to know. First of all, thank you for joining in. So the fact that you're here wanting to know more about natural hair, I feel so good about that. I'm so glad that we're here to help you. Entwine Couture is here to help you with all of your hair care needs, whether you have been natural for years or you're thinking about it or you're there. Go to www.entwinecouture.com to check out the transitioning kit to help you with that. We talked about moisture. We talked about the lock method, all things you can do to keep your hair hydrated and use Entwine products. You're going to have to do a little trial and error, so just be patient. Try a couple of things and see if they work for you, and if not, try something else. Ask a friend or head over to entwinecouture.com to see what other information and what other methods are out there. And in closing, I just want to say that you can find me on Instagram as well, Makeup by Muse, and I'm a professional makeup artist here in Atlanta. So if you have any makeup needs, you can also book your appointments with me on styleseat.com/Brittni. That's BRITTNI, Oniki, ONEKKI. Ladies, do you have anything else that you'd like to say in closing?
It's a journey. Be patient. It's worth it. You're going to love it. You just have to be patient. It takes time. It's not going to happen, the next day. You're not going to learn exactly how to take care of your hair. It's gonna take a while. But be patient. It is worth it, and just enjoy it. You'll love it.
Mm-hmm. Natural hair is what you make it. It's just hair. Rock it whatever way you want to rock it. And hopefully that you can find a professional to help you guide you through your journey that loves your hair, cares for your hair, and knows what to do with your hair. And thank you for joining us.
So wait, I've got some winners coming through. So yay. So Tia Evans, Bree Smiles, Brittni Lewis, and Loving D Naturally are all our giveaway winners for staying with us.
I love it, D Naturally. I know her.
Snaps. And congratulations, you guys. You are going to love the products. I promise. The Exotic Buttercream Hydrator is my personal favorite in the Argan. You guys are going to love it. I want you guys to send, let's see, your Instagram. Send pics to your Instagram is what I'm seeing right now. And you are going to have to email us at wecare@entwinecouture.com in order to redeem your prize. So Entwine Couture is spelled ENTWINECOUTURE.com. to receive your prize, and this just in, Rayanne 410 is also a winner. And so is Nicole Walton. Guys, we appreciate you so much. We're here for you. We're putting these programs together for you, so definitely let us know what you would like to see next. Congratulations to all the winners. Head over to www.entwinecouture.com to take advantage of this free shipping. Stock up, and until next time, I think that's it. Good night, ladies. I love hanging out with you guys.
There's another winner. Nicole won. Nicole Walton.
Yes, Nicole Walton. Did I not announce your name? I apologize, Nicole. Congratulations to you.
All right. It was so nice speaking with you, ladies. I enjoyed myself.
You too. BAA.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes.